Sat here. I'm going to be meeting up with a brother early this morning to just spend time together and have fellowship. But before he makes it to the location that we're meeting at, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about the coming of Jesus Christ, the revealing of the Antichrist, and the very end times. Something that's always intrigued me is the fact that Jesus says that a year, 1,000 years is as a year to God, and a year, 1,000 years. I find it intriguing that God has a 7-day cycle, and then God has a 7-year cycle, and then God has a 70-year cycle. Is it possible that God has a 7,000-year cycle for a plan for this earth? For example, we know that Jesus is going to live and reign for 1,000 years on this earth. Just like that there is supposed to be rest on the last day of the week. If it is true that God has set this world to be 7,000 years, and at the end of the 6,000 years, going into the 7,000, Jesus will return and rest. It would show that we are almost there. And it seems like everything is set up right for it today. I don't want to be one of these guys that's just like predicting, the rapture is going to happen at this time, or Jesus is definitely coming back at this specific day. But I do find it wild that we are probably within a decade, from 1 year to 10 years, from that 6,000 year mark, where we go into the 7,000 year, the 7,000 resembling rest, where Jesus would come back. I find it very intriguing that many of the beliefs that I've come to understand from reading the Bible, I found out are the same beliefs, maybe not all, but the vast majority, the same beliefs as the early church. And something wild that I've noticed that the early church believed, the guys in the first 100, 200 years of Christianity, they believed that the world had a 7,000 year span. 6,000 years where sin is going to rule in the world, or is going to have its way in the world. And the 7,000th year, when Jesus comes back and sets up his own kingdom and brings rest to the earth for 1,000 years, where he will rule with a rod of iron. And friends, if you do the calculation from the Bible, how old the earth is, you check out starting at Adam, going to Jesus, going to now, we see that is almost that time, if it is true that Jesus is going to be coming back at the 7,000th year of world history. Very good to see you on here. I don't got a lot of time, but I'm going to try to get my thought across. And so, guys, if this is true, this means that Jesus is coming back within a decade. This means that we really need to get ready. Remember what Jesus said. Jesus said, make sure that he doesn't find you sleeping when he comes, because he's going to come like a thief in the night. Make sure that you're busy about his business, busy doing what Jesus said and following him in love and in faithfulness. Because if he finds you so doing, you will be rewarded. But if he finds you asleep, finds you neglecting the things he's commanded you, the judgment will be great. But guys, look, the millennia is coming of the 7,000 years of Earth's history according to the Word of God. Is it possible that we are going to see the Great Tribulation within the next couple of years? Is it possible that we are going to see great revival, great persecution, great tribulation next coming years, the Antichrist, the mark of the beast, and the return of Jesus Christ after? I think it could be very probable. In fact, I believe that myself, but I'm not going to put a day on it. But God said we will know the day, we will know the season and when it's coming. He says, we won't know the day, we won't know the hour, so that's why we need to be ready at all times to see Jesus, to stand before him rightly. But he does tell us we will know the seasons, and that we should be able to discern the seasons and be able to tell what's going to be coming in the near future, because God makes it very clear. Signs in the heavens, words from his son, words from his prophet. There's so many other things we could look at that, when he comes back, it's going to be like in the days of Noah. Nick, it's good to see you on here, brother. Like in the days of Noah. I also find it interesting that I was listening to St. Irenaeus, and St. Irenaeus, like Justin Martyr, like many of the other early church guys, all believed in a literal 1,000-year reign of Christ. And they seem to all believe in a 7,000-year span of world history, of 6,000 years of people having to struggle in sin, people trying to seek God, and the 7,000-year Jesus return. And for 1,000 years, ruling and reigning on this earth, what we call the millennial reign. Irenaeus said that the Antichrist would have this number, 666. Nick says, it's funny we're talking about this. Just last night I was reading Revelations chapter 13. No way, Nick. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign for you to get on fire for God and make sure that when he comes, he finds you busy doing what he would like you to do. But God bless you, Nick. Wow. Renee Stubbs, hello. And so the mark of the beast, the number of his name is associated with the number 666. And Irenaeus noted that even in his day, there were a lot of people who their names could be related to this number. And, we've seen, especially over internet Christianity, we've seen all sorts of people somehow have this number tied to their name, and they didn't turn out to be the Antichrist. Right now, people are saying that someone like Donald Trump, maybe Emmanuel Macron, maybe Bibi Netanyahu, or maybe someone else is the Antichrist. And Irenaeus was dealing with the same thing. Lillian, I am in a store waiting for a brother. Well, I'm going to meet up. When he comes, I'm going to get off my live stream so we can fellowship before I go to work. And so we've had people throughout the centuries have the number 666 tied to their name in some way. And although that is a legitimate sign that that person could be the Antichrist, it is not the only sign. But something interesting that Irenaeus pointed out is that he believed that the sign was also the fulfillment of the years. And so it had to be around the 6,000th year that this man would come and reign as a tyrant, persecuting the church and doing all sorts of evil, desecrating the temple. And guys, that temple that the New Testament seems to talk about and the early church talk about, Irenaeus knew that the temple in Jerusalem was destroyed, but he still believed that there's going to be a temple there in the last days. And so did you know that there is such a thing called the Temple Institute in Israel that are doing their very best to get that temple built? There's all sorts of people in Israel that are getting ready to build that third temple. They've got sacrifices ready. They claim that they have all the instruments they need to perform the duties that they would do in the temple. And really all that they're waiting for is the plot of land to be opened up where they can build it. Very said, I thought they already started. They're in the process, but as far as I understand, they haven't started the actual building process yet. And I think one of the things that are in the way is the Dome of the Rock, that mosque that is on the place where the temple ought to be. And so they're probably waiting for some type of peace deal, some type of treaty, some type of demolition, some type of agreement so that they can build a temple. Maybe next to the mosque, maybe in place of the mosque. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that they are ready to build this temple. And with the technology we have now, they could probably get it done really, really fast. anyhow, the brother has made it. So I'm going to be getting off for today. I hope this has really inspired you to seek God more, to follow him with all of your heart, and to make sure that you are ready when Jesus comes. Don't forget, if this content has blessed you, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you, Renee, Lynn, Nick, and Beauty. You have a good day. And Jarvis. God bless you, Jarvis.